And how's everyone doing? Welcome to Financial Sense. My name is Anthony Murray. Listen, we have something great for you today. So I want you guys to prepare, get ready, because this is going to be a winner podcast. You know, this is something you want to share, let your friends know, tell your family members, tell your enemies, tell everybody. I'm serious. I mean, you know, people you haven't spoken to in 50 years and they are about ready to retire. You need to get them on this podcast. Um, I'm telling you, you do not want them to miss it. It's that valuable today. We have a very special guest and wow. Listen, we're going to be talking about life after retirement. Life after retirement. Now, I have a few things that I'm going to discuss with you. You know, we are a podcast that deals with areas in the finance industry that we have either taken for granted or we just plain old ignorant about. Yeah, ignorant, not even ignorant, ignorant. All right. We just don't know about these areas. And for the life of me, sometimes I just can't understand why we don't pay closer attention to the things in life that we really need to understand that's going to help us, that literally is going to help us with our retirement, our money. Why is it that we just don't pay that close attention to that kind of stuff when we should be? We should be paying very close attention. Unfortunately, most people don't really look into it, don't learn about it until it's just about too late. So what I want you to do today, I want you to share what we have going on. All right. I want you to share this. Okay. We're here every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, keep those folks in prayer and where was that, in Texas and that area that really got hit hard with flooding. Keep them in prayer. Man, that's just a lot to face. Really a lot to face, right? And I wouldn't want to go through that myself. I don't know about you, but I really wouldn't want to go through that. So this is a season when we're in hurricane season, right? We're in hurricane season, and they're all over the place. And this year, the tornadoes have been really, really bad. So keep folks in prayer, and please use wisdom yourself. All right. All right. So we're going to jump into this in a few minutes. Listen, you know, and you understand that knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is powerful. Financial literacy is the key. It is the key. Before we get too far into our podcast today, I'd like to just talk a little bit about this place. I think is phenomenal. One Price Cleaners, they're one of our sponsors, Garden City, Georgia, at the farmers market on Highway 80. They're black owned and operated. They have the best prices in town. You want to check them out. You really do. You want to go see what they're all about. And I had, let me see if I can find it real quick. In my pictures, somewhere or another, I had their phone number and all that other good stuff, and I'm not going to be able to find it, but I will have it for you. I will have it for you next week. How's that? I'll have it for you next time. You definitely want to check them out. One Price Cleaners. I believe they're the only black-owned cleaners in Chatham County. All right, so you want to look at that. You want to check them out. Also, you know why? Let me tell you why. You need to go to them because you know you're going to need an attorney, right? We have a group of attorneys that I think is top of the line. Davis, Bosman, Johnson Law, the law firm that gets great results. Their phone number is 912-225-1600. They have offices in Savannah, Atlanta, and Statesboro. Now, here's their website for you, www.dbjlawyers.com. So you want to check them out. And you want to make sure that you tell them that I sent you, right? You want to tell them that I sent you. Share this thing, right? Let people know what's going on. We have a special guest, and I just want to tell you a little bit about this young lady. She is a phenomenal woman, you know, and she's making it happen. Her name is Shiante Jones. She's local. She's right here. So if you need somebody that is in the Medicare field, specializing in Medicare, then, hey, you need to give this woman a call. We're going to put her number up later on, but she's located right in the city of Rankin. That's where her office is. All right, and we're going to bring her on now just so you can meet her, and she's going to spend some time with us. Welcome aboard, Shiante Jones.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Anthony.
How you doing?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So good to have you.
Happy to be here.
Hey, what a great look! I told y'all, she's phenomenal. She got a lot going on. Now we're gonna put up her name and number and everything. And Shiante, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Yes, sir. So I've been in the insurance industry now for a little over 5 years. But the Medicare side of it, this is a little over 3 years now. I actually I started with Primerica. I'm sure everybody's heard of Primerica. I started there, and I quickly learned that that wasn't my niche in the insurance industry.
Okay.
I was introduced to the Medicare side of it or the health insurance side of it, and I fell in love with it.
Wow. So you've been doing insurance then for a minute here.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, how many years did you say?
So 5 years, a little over 5 years total with life and health.
All right, look, that's a minute in the insurance industry because this industry has a very high turnover, folks. It has a very high turnover, you know. Some people think, hey, I'll just get out there, I'll sell a whole bunch of insurance, make a whole bunch of money. No, it doesn't work like that. You don't come into this industry just to sell. You come into this industry to help, right? Wouldn't you agree with that, Shante? Right?
Oh, yeah.
You come into this industry to help. And if people come into this industry just to make money, now I'm not saying you can't make money in this. You can make good money. Mm-hmm. I'll be a witness to that. And this young lady right here, I'm telling you, she's doing it. I when I have situations with Medicare, guess who I send them to? You're right. I send them to her. Yeah. Why? Why not? Can I do Medicare? Sure, I can do Medicare, but that's not my specialty. Her specialty. You see, if you want if your car needs brakes, you don't go to the bakery.
No.
You go to the mechanic. All right. This young lady is a mechanic when it comes to that. When it comes to that area, and so I like her personality. And guess what? I'm gonna tell you how we met. I met her in the building that I rent my office. She also has an office there. All right, and so we just hit it off. You know, we get along well, and you can't say that about everybody. When they're sharing, we don't share office space. We share an office building, mm-hmm. Right? We share an office building. She has her own office. I have my own office, but we get along very well. And I'll tell you what, that makes all the difference in the world. And that's why I wanted her on here, because she has a lot to offer. All right. And so we're going to get to some of the questions we have set up in a moment. But in the meantime, all right, hold on one moment. In the meantime, there's a few things that I want you guys to think about. All right. There's a few things I want you to think about. And one of the things I want you to think about is, what are you going to do with your life after you retire? After you retire, what are you going to do with your life after? How is your life going to be taken care of? How are you going to make things work after you retire? All right. So just a few things for you to think about. And I believe that if you think about that during this podcast, you'll see something tremendous. Now, this is her information right here. Okay. So for those of you that have Medicare, Medicaid questions, hey, did I say Medicaid too? That's right. She specializes in Medicare, Medicaid. If you need final expense policies, all right, she can help you with that. There's a lot of things she can help you with. Obamacare, all right. I don't do Obamacare. Could I do Obamacare? Yeah. But why? When I have a friend that specializes in it, all right. See, my thing is to make sure that whatever clients I have, if I can't take care of them, I know somebody that can. So, Shante, I want to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. How can working under the table hurt you when you become Medicare eligible? Tell us about it.
So, what I find is that I have a couple clients that don't have what they call their Part A on their Medicare.
Okay.
And what I've learned is they don't have their Part A is because, well, it's two reasons. They worked under the table. That's one thing. So you can't get
Mm-hmm.
your 40 credit hours, which equal up to working
Oh,
10
wow.
in the USA.
Uh-huh.
Or they were maybe like stay-at-home moms or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And the husbands at that time, of course, went to work. So the wife couldn't, get her credit hours or whatever the case may be. It could be
Okay.
vice versa.
All
But
right.
in that case, most cases, I've learned that those that work under the table, they're not eligible to get their Part A for Medicare when they become
Oh,
60.
wow.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is a way to get it if Medicaid pays for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's very hard to get in Georgia. They'll pay for Part B easily if they qualify for it, but
Okay.
Part A is $500 and something dollars. And Medicaid could pay for it, but in
Mm-hmm.
most cases, it's hard to get it. It's easy to get it in Florida, but not in Georgia.
Okay. So let's talk. Well, how many states are you licensed in?
So I'm licensed in California, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Okay. All right. All right. Is that enough, or you need some more?
That's enough for now.
That's enough. No, it's not. No, it's not. Hey, listen, she can help you anywhere in the United States because we got folks listening from all over the country, right? Anyway, and all she would have to do is get licensed in that state. Listen, she specializes in these states, though. What are they? Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and California.
California. Mm-hmm.
All right, all right. So she specializes in those states. And California, I know that's a ooh, that's an issue all by itself, huh? Because of their laws are so different.
It's a whole different ball game.
Wow, wow, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let me ask you something. Uh, Tell us the difference between Part A and Part B in Medicare.
Yeah, sure. So Part A is what we actually just went over. That's what you work for all your life. When they deduct that money out your check, that says for Medicare, that's for your Part A. That's hospitalization.
Okay.
Okay.
That's for a hospital.
Mm-hmm. Strictly for hospital. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, how much do they cover in that?
So it really depends on what you decide to take when you become Medicare eligible. So if you decide to keep original Medicare, so that's just your red, white, and blue card and a Part D prescription drug plan.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a Medicare supplement or if you take a Medicare Advantage, it just really depends on what you take, how it'll work.
Okay.
The Part A.
Okay. All right. Then tell us about the other. There's 4 parts, right?
Well, it's really just 2 parts. The
2 parts
to the red, white, and blue part. To the red, white, and blue card, which is your Medicare card. It's just really 2 parts to it.
All right. All right.
Now, when you go past Part B, you start going into Part C, which is like Medicare Advantage plan, or Part D, which is just a prescription drug plan. And when you start going to the letters F, G, H, those are your supplements. But just in order for you to get started with your Medicare, just Part A for hospitalization and Part B for your medical. And that's actually one of the things that we were going to go over. But Part B is one that you'll have to pay for once you become eligible.
Okay. So Part B, side. That's the medical side.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See, look, I'm finding out all about this stuff, folks. So I may ask some questions. Now we have some pre-established questions that I'm going to ask, but I may throw some questions in there because guess what? Yeah. Anyway, so what happens when somebody is working and they're on Medicare?
So if somebody is working and they become Medicare eligible, that's typically at 65. And some people like my age or younger, they can have Medicare too, but that's if they have disability. But those that are working at
Mm-hmm.
still on the job and still have what they call credible coverage through the job, when they turn
Mm-hmm.
65, they can have the choice of taking their Medicare, which in some cases, when I compare it, it makes sense for them to take their Medicare because
Mm-hmm.
their job's insurance is going to be way more, like monthly for them.
Okay.
But what'll happen is they'll have the choice once they turn 65 to take their Medicare or just to keep their credible job insurance. And at
Okay.
any time they can take their Medicare. Like if they decide months later after they become eligible, they want to take their Medicare, they can.
Mm-hmm. Mm. All right. So they could take the Medicare. What now? There's certain terminology you're using. All right. Just explain it to us one more time because I want to hear that terminology. Folks, I want you to pay attention to what she's saying because this next couple of years is the largest, I mean, the absolute largest retirement group in the history of the United States called the baby boomer group. All right. The largest, absolute largest. All right. And so this is very interesting and is very important. We're talking about life after retirement. So you don't necessarily have to retire to start Medicare if you're on a job and you're working, you're on a job and you're getting insurance from your job. You can still get can you get part A and B or just part A?
Yeah, and I should have clarified on that. Part A is automatically going to kick in.
Okay.
Whether you have credible coverage or not, it's going to kick in automatically. And what'll happen is they'll send you your Medicare card and it'll only have part A on it.
All right.
Okay. When you decide to take your part B, what they'll do is they'll send you another card that'll have both your part A and part B on there. But that goes for the spouse as well. If the spouse is carrying, if we'll just say the husband, if the husband is carrying the wife on his insurance and she turns 65, she has that option too, whether or not she wants to take her Medicare or she wants to keep the job's insurance.
Okay. Okay. So this stuff, I mean, it becomes pricey after a while. Now, folks, we just put Shantae's name, her information right back up there for you, her office number, as well as her cell number. Hey, Shantae, don't go anywhere. We're going to come right back. We just need to take a quick station break. Okay? All right. All right. I hope you guys are making some notes because I know I am. Shantae, don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Hey, folks, listen. You need this. You need to get this information. You need One Price Cleaners. Hey, you know, when you go to visit Shantae, you want to make sure that you're looking good. All right. You don't have to, just because you're retired doesn't mean you have to look like you don't know how to dress. Go to One Price Cleaners in Garden City. They're at the farmers market on Highway 80. They're Black owned and operated, have the best prices in town. You want to check them out. So now, after you go to see Shantae, now you're gonna you're gonna have to go check out the attorneys because you got some stuff got to be done legally for you, right? So you want to go and check out Davis, Bosman, Johnson Law, the law firm that gets great results. Their telephone number is 912-225-1600. They have offices in Savannah, Atlanta, and Statesboro. The website, www.dbjlawyers.com. You definitely want to check them out. Hey, we're going to get right back to our guest right now. Shantae, let me ask you another question. How do people prepare? how do they prepare themselves to take their Medicare out? What, you know what I mean? How do they prepare for Medicare? What do they do?
So, the easiest, so let's just use the scenario of somebody's already drawing their Social Security
Okay.
early and they
All
just
right.
became eligible 65.
Okay.
So what needs to happen is, well, it's going to work automatically in that case, but you still have to call Social Security, which you can call your local Social Security office for two things, actually, to make sure that you have enough credits to qualify for your Part A. And also to let them know that you're going to, if they say yes, of course, you got your 40 credits to get your Part A, then at that time you can let them know, okay, well, I'll be ready to take my Part B for my birthday month or my birth month.
Okay.
What'll happen if it automatically works out perfectly, they'll automatically send you your card and you won't have to call. But what I'm finding here lately, most people have to call. So just to cover your back, because what can happen is if you get your card or you don't get your card and you don't make a decision, because you do have to make a decision on whether you're going to choose, if you're going to keep original Medicare and just a prescription drug plan, a Medicare supplement, or a Medicare Advantage plan. You have to make a decision 3 months before and 3 months after your birthday. So it's a total of 7 months, but you have to make a decision. If you don't, then they'll penalize you. So how you can prepare for it is call your local Social Security office, make sure your Part A is set up properly. You have your 40 credit hours, and then let them know that you're going to get ready to take your Part B, which is your medical.
Wow. Yeah. I hope you all heard that. You can be penalized if you do not apply for Medicare in the proper time frame or the set time frame. You have 7 months, 3 months before your 65th birthday and 3 months after your 65th birthday. You must contact or apply. And I like what you said as far as a person may not necessarily get that Medicare card automatically, so it's safer. It's safer for them to call and get that information so that they can make sure that they're covered. Because what happens if they don't, and now all of a sudden you're facing a fine? How healthy are those fines? How big are they?
So they're not. It's for the rest of your life, first of all. So
the fine?
The penalty is for the rest of your life.
What? Oh, yes. God. Okay.
So it just depends on how many years you went without making a decision.
Okay. Hey, look, did y'all hear that? Explain that a little more. What else can you say about that? Because that was important.
So to be honest, I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's a very low percentage of the penalty. So they calculate it with your income and how long you went without it, and somehow they get it like that. But and I believe on the Social Security website, you can use a calculator. I believe somebody told me that. I haven't used it personally, but somebody told me you could kind of calculate it and see, what your penalty would be. But I've seen the highest penalty that I've seen is like $100, $100 and something. But it is a way to get out of it if you're considered a lower income member. They'll give you something called, which you have to apply for it, but if you qualify for it, they'll give you something called LIS. It's called two names. LIS, which is low income subsidy, or extra help. And if you get that, they'll pay that penalty for you as long as you carry that benefit.
Whew, man, so there is a bright side. There is a silver lining somewhere.
Yeah, but it is. But my recommendations is just make a decision.
Make a decision.
Have to worry about the penalty.
Hey, folks, listen to me. Every Monday through Friday, we have financial literacy workshops online with worldsystembuilder.com. You could get online, get on worldsystembuilder.com and just look up the events and go to workshops, and it'll give you all the information right there. And you have to register. But the workshops are free. Now, the information concerning that is scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. You want to do that. Hey, guys, I want you to stay right there. We're going to take a quick station break, and we'll be right back with some more of Shiante Jones.
It seems like no one wants to talk about dreams anymore. Is it the post 9/11 worries, the post-recession blues, or the posts on social media by anyone with an opinion that have made the world so cynical these days? Are they obsolete, out of style? Are they uncool? Do you still have dreams? For many North Americans, a dream is nothing but an old-fashioned idea replaced by the harsh reality of a modern world. Longer work hours, higher debt, fewer raises, horrible bosses, less family time. Who's got time for dreams when everyone's just trying to get by? We're here to officially announce that WSB is bringing dreams back. And we're not doing it for just the ultra-wealthy like others are. We're doing it for everyone, every age, every background, every gender, every experience level. Whoever you are, we're here to help you. And help starts with a financial education. When people know how money really works, they can reduce debt and enjoy the confidence that comes from knowing their families are protected financially. They can discover the excitement that comes from a solid strategy to save for the future and the hope that one day they might become financially independent. But we don't stop there. We open the door to anyone to be a business owner and be part of our mission to help others. We don't want anyone to shrink the size of their dreams to fit the size of their opportunity. That's why there's no limit to how many people can reach our top promotion levels. And that's why we don't put any limits on how much you can earn with us. Success is not reserved for a few. It's offered to anyone willing to learn, work hard, and grow. We believe anyone with the right support can transition from where they are today as someone's employee to where they could be tomorrow as an entrepreneur who owns their future. If you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to help build theirs. When you know how to protect your family financially, when you take control of your money, when you're enabled to succeed, an amazing thing happens. Dreams are all you want to talk about. If you still have dreams, start here.
Wow, what a powerful situation there. Yes, you could become your own entrepreneur. You could make sure that you leave a legacy for your loved ones. I just want to mention something to you that's extremely important. Do not take this for granted, this information today. This is extremely valuable information. All right, we are in an era of, I call, laziness. All right, where people are just simply lazy. All right, and ignorance has become an excuse. Well, listen, when it comes to this, there is no excuse. You need to get this information. You need to make sure that you understand what's going on. All right. We're going to go back to Shiante, but before we do, I want to mention to you One Price Cleaners, Garden City, Georgia, at the farmers market. You want to make sure that you check them out. They're on Highway 80. They're black owned and black operated. Let me tell you something. They're the only black cleaners I know of between Chatham and Effingham County. Prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. I haven't seen another one yet. Okay, the only one that I know of. And then you want a good law firm? Please, Davis, Bosman, Johnson Law, the law firm that gets not just results, but great results. Their numbers 912-1600. They have offices in Savannah, Atlanta, and Statesboro. www.dbjlawyers.com is the website. Hey, folks, we're going right back to Shante. I hope you're writing some stuff down because this is very important. Shante, thank you once again for being our guest today. It's such an honor to have somebody at your caliber to be with us. Listen, y'all don't know this lady is very professional. So you want to check her out. All right. Here's her information. Write it down. Take a screenshot. Shante Jones, 272 South Columbia Avenue, Suite 110, Rankin, Georgia, 31326. Phone number, her office number, 912-826-7042. Cell number 912-401-4485. Shante.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you something. So, do I still have to take my Medicare when I become eligible? Do I have to? Is it mandatory?
So you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but I would recommend that you do, because if you don't have credible coverage, you're going to be penalized if you don't.
Man, there's just no way around it, huh?
No.
The
only way around it is in some cases too. I'm not going to say that case because it's not a likely case, but the most likely case is if you carry credible coverage on the job. That's about it. Okay. That's the only way that's going to get you out of that.
Well, what about someone that's making like millions of dollars? Then what?
So it's something called IRMAA. They don't have to take it in that case. I'm sure they have other ways around that. I haven't met anybody that's making $1 million and have questions about their Medicare, but it is something that I am going to mention since you say that high number of income. It's something called, of course, when you turn 65, you have to pay for your Part B, which is your medical. Right now, as of 2024, that's $174.70. Okay. If you make over $100,000 a year, you'll go into something called IRMAA, and it's stationed towards those that have higher income. So if you want to IRMAA, if you make $100,000, you're considered an IRMAA member. So now your Part B is going to be higher than the normal average $174.70, which that goes up it could go up or down. It never stays the same.
All right. So IRMAA goes up and down, and that's if someone's earning they're the higher percentile in their revenue. So
no, IRMAA doesn't go well. That can go up and down too, but your Part B premium every year could go. It never stays the same. So
Part B premium goes up and down.
Yeah. So for 2023, it was $170. Okay. And of course, it went up $4 this year here. But for somebody that has IRMAA or is considered an IRMAA member, which that's just somebody that earns higher income, $100,000 or more, they'll have to pay. And I've seen it as high as $400 and something a month instead of $174 for their Part B premium.
Because of the income they're making?
Because of the income, if it's $100,000 or more. And I see that a lot in Florida area.
Oh, yeah, because a lot of people from up north retire down in Florida. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I hear you. Hey, folks, I want to ask you a question. Will you leave a financial legacy or financial hardship for your family? I want to make sure you understand how critical this information is that this young lady is giving us today. And now you deal with Medicaid too,
Mm-hmm.
right? Tell us about Medicaid.
So, per CMS, we can't. So we help apply for Medicaid. Okay.
Okay.
So CMS is just a Center of Medicare Services, and they regulate a lot of stuff when it comes down to Medicare and Medicaid. And that's just to protect the members. So they already have a lot of calls and everything else. So they regulate that for the members and make sure that we're upholding what we're supposed to be doing with our license. So per CMS, we can't really say that we can't say that we work for Medicaid or Medicare, right? So what we do, or what I do for my members, is I help them apply. If I look at their income and I see, they qualify for Medicaid or extra help, we apply for both of them. And we could do that electronically, or we could do it paper. But when it comes down to Medicaid, it's a lot of different levels that you may qualify for. And some of those levels will pay for your Part B premium, which is that $174.70.
All right, now I know just that much. Probably that. Can you see the space in between my fingers? Probably that much about Medicaid. So. And correct me if I'm incorrect here, if I'm wrong, but with Medicaid, you're only allowed to have so much money, so much income, one thing, and so much net worth.
That's right. You are absolutely correct. So it's a whole list of questions that we go through. The main questions are, do you have, I think it's like I think it went up to $17,000 saved in a checking account, savings account. That's one of the questions. The other question is, do you own any other properties outside of the current one that you live in? And another one is, do you own more than one vehicle? And then it goes into stocks and bonds and mutual funds, which is, when it comes down to those things, the saddest part is it's always a no.
So they cannot own any stocks or bonds.
Well, they can, but they won't. Medicaid won't give it to them, which I wouldn't recommend they apply for it. If that answer was a yes, that they had stocks, bonds, mutual funds, then I wouldn't recommend that they
wouldn't qualify. They wouldn't qualify. In other words, there's a chance that they will not qualify, because Medicaid is then looking at they are financially able to maintain their own.
Yeah, but and I say, well, this is why I say I would not apply for it. So if they have, we could say one home, one car, and they have stocks, bonds, mutual funds. If those answers are yes, what I've seen is sometimes, even if we say yes, and I feel like they don't qualify, that'll still slip through the cracks of Medicaid, and they'll give it to them. But what can happen is, once they figure out, your answer was a yes, they can come back and try to make you pay that money back. So when I say I wouldn't do it if I know somebody owns more than, let's say they got one home they live in, they have a couple rental properties. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't apply for it.
Wow. Yeah. So now, years ago, if somebody applied for Medicaid, they could not be a homeowner.
Oh, wow.
Years ago. And if they were a homeowner, then Medicaid or the government would attach a lien to the property. And when that person deceased, is that still the law? That person deceased, they get their money back?
Well, the second home. So what I've seen, and I believe it was on the news a couple of years ago, and that's what really made me be like, no. And it was in Savannah. The member passed away, and she had two properties. Of course, the one she lived in, and the other one, I can't remember if somebody was renting it or family member was staying in it or something. But Medicaid came back for that second property, not the first property, not the one she was living in, but that second property they came back for.
Wow.
See, and when I say you can apply for it, so 9 times, when we apply for Medicaid or extra help, it's really their decision, right? For them to say yes or no. So sometimes, and I know this, like, it slips through the crack. it slips through the cracks. Like they don't always catch everything.
Okay.
And I just would hate for, especially one of my members or anybody to have to be in that situation where they try to come back and either come for the money or try to come and get a property.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, oh boy, that'd be a sad situation. But now, what about how does Medicare and Medicaid work with somebody that has a living trust or something like that? A will, a living trust. So will a living trust protect their assets from the government if they have Medicaid?
I believe I'm not I'm not too big on that side of it. And I haven't run
Right. So you're not a lawyer. I understand that.
Yeah. Right. But I haven't run into any members that had a situation like that.
Okay.
So I wouldn't know how to answer that one.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I had that question asked to me and I couldn't answer it either. I was like, I told him straight up. I said, look, you need to talk to your attorney about that.
Yeah.
All right. And that's one of those questions that people ask when they don't have long-term care or something to protect them in the event. Mm-hmm. Now, folks, I specialize in long-term care. I also specialize in retirement plans and different types of insurance, such as Index Universal Life. Now, there's a lot of things out there today, and I always tell people that life insurance today is like the old Army Swiss knife. It just has a lot of different functions to it. But now this area, Medicare, is kind of straightforward. Wouldn't you say, Shante? I mean, it's kind of like there's not a whole bunch of a lot of different arms to it. It's kind of pretty much this is what you get and this is what's available.
Yeah, it is. Because nothing, outside of plans changing every year, your Part B is going to change every year. You have Medicare, if you qualify for Medicaid. So yeah, it's about as straightforward as it's going to get for now.
All right, now, so Part A and Part B are separate, but what about C and D? They work with Part A or they work with Part B?
So you have to have, in order for you to go into a Part C, which is a Medicare Advantage plan, you have to have Part A and B. So remember,
A and B. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So remember, we have some cases, and I see it a lot nowadays, is those that don't have Part A, they only have Part B on their Medicare card, right? Mm-hmm. So they can't go into a Part C. The only thing they can have is a prescription drug plan. That's it. They have to get their dental, vision, their hearing plan, all that separately.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
So
folks, I hope y'all heard that. Go ahead. You were ready to say something. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to reiterate. If you have Part A and B, you can go into a Part C, which has a D attached to it, which is D is just a prescription drug plan, and it's attached to your Medicare Advantage. Okay.
So D, look, I'm learning something. I hope you guys are learning. I'm learning something. Okay. I'm not that versed in Medicare. I don't deal with it. I help people with annuities and, retirement things. I could put your money somewhere where you never lose a penny. But let me tell you something, folks. Don't try to outsmart the government. There's people that try to hide money and then get on Medicaid. All right, now the government, they look back now how many years at a person's assets. How many years, do you know?
I think it's 2 years.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 2 years. So, hey, look, you trying to hide that money. You trying to hide that money. They're going to look back and see, wait a minute, what you do with that money? So now a person, they can live in their house and be on Medicaid?
Yeah, they sure can. They can have both benefits. They can have Medicaid and extra help with one home.
All right. Explain extra help. What is that?
Yeah, extra help is through Social Security. It's called two names. So extra help, and we call it LIS, but it's abbreviated for low income subsidy as well. So it could be called low income subsidy, or it could be called extra help. And all extra help does is help with your prescription costs, if you have any premiums or any late penalties.
Okay. Because, I see these commercials and they talk about things like rides to the doctor and all this other stuff. I can't even think about some of the things. I mean, they mention a good variety of things. And I don't remember if that's associated with part B, C, D, E, F, G, or Z. I don't know. But I hear all this stuff, and mostly those extra benefits are part of part B or part B and C combined.
Mm-mm. So always remember this. Medicare is only, so Medicare, just red, white, and blue, A and B on your card. Mm-hmm. They're not going to pay for dental. They're not going to pay for vision. They're not going to pay for hearing. They're not going to pay for transportation. They're not going to pay for food. Red, white, and blue card, Medicare doesn't pay for any of those things. They only pay for what's on that card, right?
Okay.
So there's your hospitalization and your medical, okay?
All right.
Now, in like a situation where, Lord forbid, somebody got in an accident and it took out all their teeth, Medicare will step in for that. But anything preventative, they're not doing. What you'll have to do is Part C is the Medicare Advantage. Okay, that has your health, dental, vision, hearing, your prescription drug plan. That has your transportation. That has sometimes a healthy food option and sometimes an over-the-counter option as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. So listen, there's a lot to it. You guys are not going to get all this in one day, not in 1 hour. So what I'm going to tell you what I encourage you to do. This is what I'm going to encourage you folks to do. You want to know more information? Reach out to this young lady. Reach out to her. Your retirement is right there. You're going to be retiring early or you're going to be retiring late. You don't know what to do. You want to know about Medicare. You want to call me? Feel free to call me. I'm going to refer you to Keontae because that's what I ask her. That's what I do. All right. Why should I try to specialize in a specialty field as that when my specialty field, you got to know where your specialty is. Okay. Mine is with long-term care, different life insurances, and retirement plans. If you have a 401k or a Roth and you just, hey, look, man, I'm tired of losing money. I lost so much money in the stock market. I lost so much money in my Roth. I lost so much money. All right. I know what to do with that money. I could put it somewhere where you won't lose another penny. But now you want to know about you want to know about Medicare and Medicaid, you need to speak to this woman right here. You need to ring her phone till she has to just about take it off the hook, hire an administrator, hire a whole staff just to help you out, because all of Florida, South Carolina, then next thing you know, North Carolina be calling her, California, Georgia, everybody, you ought to flood her lines. Why? Because the woman knows what she's talking about. I want to thank you so much for being our guest today. You are just a wealth of information, young lady, when it comes to this. Will you come back and be with us?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Hey, look, it was a pleasure and an honor to have you. And listen, we look forward to having you back again. I know we're going to have to do this. Why? Because there's a lot of information in this area. All right, folks, our time is up. We've got to run. But before we run, I want to once again show you a little bit of something about the people that is sponsoring this podcast. Okay, Shante, Ms. Jones, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
God bless. Hey, folks, I hope you got something out of this. This is really a powerful podcast. I want to encourage you to share. All right. Don't forget about One Price Cleaners, Garden City, at the farmers market on Highway 80, Black owned and operated. Best prices in town. They're not that far. They're right here. And don't forget about Davis Bosman Johnson Law, the law firm that gets great results. Their telephone number is 912-225-1600. Offices in Savannah, Atlanta, and Statesboro. Once again, thank you guys for being with us today. And I'll tell you what, we will see you, I'd like to say, next time.
Like this.